This is the story of Sylvester. On September 23rd, 2025, Zine Nuckie Sylvester, a 23-year-old mother from Ohio, was confirmed dead. The cause of death was ruled suicide. Her case became publicly documented through social media activity, family statements, and news reports. Prior to her death, Sylvester published a message on Facebook that contained specific instructions. She indicated her preferred funeral colors of pink and black. She stated that her son should be dressed in pink. She wrote that she was tired. The message ended with a statement: "If this touched Facebook, I'm gone." The timing of the post and her subsequent death established a direct connection between the two. Sylvester left behind 3 children, aged 6 years, 1 year, and 3 months. Family members confirmed her identity and organized a GoFundMe campaign to cover funeral and memorial expenses. A candlelight vigil was later held. Media coverage established her as both a social media influencer and a young mother. Before we dive into today's story, we want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? And how do you feel as the story unfolds? Welcome to Deadly Crime Unmasked, the show where we expose the shocking crimes that rip through communities and the chilling secrets lurking behind closed doors. These are real people, real events, real consequences. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications. You won't want to miss the gripping story that's coming up. Now, let's dive in. Zine Sylvester, known to many by her nickname Nuckie, was born in Ohio in 2002. She came from a modest background, raised in a family that would later describe her as a central figure in their household. Her early years were spent in the Midwest, where she grew up in a typical urban environment. Her upbringing was shaped by the responsibilities of school, community life, and the household structure provided by her parents. As a child, she navigated the challenges of growing up in an environment that required her to mature quickly. She had to balance the expectations of family life with the demands of education and the social realities of her neighborhood. While her childhood does not appear to have been marked by any single extraordinary event, she was described as active and socially connected from a young age. Her education followed the local public school system. She attended school in Ohio, where she completed her primary and secondary education. Records do not indicate that she pursued college-level studies before adulthood. Instead, her focus shifted early toward motherhood and building a personal identity outside of formal education. Sylvester became a mother at a young age. Her first child was born when she was still in her teenage years, introducing her to the responsibilities of parenting well before many of her peers. This development defined much of her adult life, as her role as a mother took precedence over traditional pathways of career or higher education. In terms of relationships, she had partners throughout her young adult life. These relationships resulted in 3 children across different stages. Co-parenting status and involvement of the fathers varied, and full details were not made public, though family support became an important factor in raising the children. Her family structure consisted of her parents, siblings, and extended relatives. The family often appeared supportive, later taking responsibility for her children after her death. Her household ties provided both a foundation for her life and a safety net for her children. From an early stage, Sylvester began using social media not just for connection, but also as a platform for self-expression. She adopted the identity Nuckie online, gradually cultivating a presence that reached beyond her immediate community. This early entry into social media would later become a defining part of her public image. Over time, she developed an audience on platforms like Facebook and Instagram. What began as casual posting evolved into a consistent online persona that many followers came to know. She positioned herself as an influencer, documenting her life, motherhood, and personal experiences. Sylvester's most active platforms were Facebook and Instagram, where she regularly posted updates. These posts ranged from daily life snapshots to more reflective or personal comments about her circumstances. Her content style was personal and direct. She focused on lifestyle posts, photographs of herself and her children, and insights into her routines. She also shared updates about her challenges, her outlook on life, and her roles as both an individual and a mother. Her following was not in the millions, but it was significant enough to classify her as an online influencer in her community. Friends, Acquaintances and strangers engaged with her posts, responding to her updates with comments and shares. Her online identity shaped how people perceived her. To many, she was a young mother who was relatable, open about her life, and candid about her struggles. Her willingness to speak directly to her audience gave her posts a level of authenticity that drew attention. Friends and acquaintances often commented on her online presence, noting that she was widely known for her activity on social media. After her passing, these same posts became the subject of public discussion, as people look back to interpret her state of mind and the clues she left behind. Public records and reports confirmed that Sylvester had documented struggles with depression. Sources identified her ongoing battle with mental health, though there are no confirmed medical records publicly released detailing formal diagnoses. Her social media posts often hinted at exhaustion, stress, and mental fatigue. On multiple occasions, she referenced being overwhelmed, tired, or facing challenges that she found difficult to manage. These posts became more significant in hindsight after her death. Multiple sources reported that she had been dealing with depression for some time. This was compounded by her role as a young mother with 3 children, the youngest of whom was only 3 months old at the time of her passing. This detail raised questions of postpartum depression as a possible contributing factor, though no medical confirmation has been made public. Within her community, there was general awareness that she struggled with her mental health. Friends and relatives later acknowledged that she had shown signs of distress, though the extent of this knowledge before her death remains unclear. At the center of Sylvester's life were her 3 children. Her first child was approximately 6 years old. Her second was about 1 year old. Her third was only 3 months old when she died. These children represented her primary role and responsibility in her daily life. As a mother, Sylvester's responsibilities were extensive. She was responsible for the day-to-day care of the children, including feeding, clothing, supervision, and emotional support. Balancing these responsibilities with her own personal life and mental health struggles was a challenge she often alluded to in her online content. Raising 3 children of different ages required constant attention, and she frequently noted the exhaustion associated with her role. Unlike peers who might focus on career or further studies, her focus was tied to her role as a mother from a very young age. Her support system included her family, who were actively involved in her children's lives and later became their guardians following her death. Details about the involvement of the fathers of her children were limited in public records, but family accounts indicate that her relatives were the most consistent source of support. Despite the challenges, her children were a central part of her identity both online and offline. Her posts frequently included them, and she expressed her love and responsibility toward them openly. This relationship became even more visible in her final public messages, where she referenced how she wanted her children presented at her funeral. In the month of September 2025, Nuckie Sylvester was living in Ohio with her 3 children. Reports from family and online activities show she was actively posting on social media throughout the month. In the days before her death, her posts began shifting in tone, with comments that were interpreted by some as expressions of fatigue and distress. The specific timeline indicates that by the 3rd week of September, her social media output became more cryptic. On September 22nd and into the early hours of September 23rd, she made what would later be recognized as her final and most significant post. Her daily activities leading into this timeline are not extensively documented in public reports. However, the available evidence shows that she was managing life as a young mother to 3 children, including an infant of only 3 months. Relatives later explained that she had been showing visible signs of stress. Online observers noted that her final activity on Facebook appeared to serve both as a farewell and as instructions for her funeral. While few official details were disclosed about her movements in the immediate days leading up to her death, sources confirmed that she was active on social media. Her friends and family later commented that she was communicating less directly with them and instead turning to online platforms to share her feelings. There is no record of her attending events or making public appearances during this period. Her last significant act before the confirmation of her death was a Facebook post she published on September 23, 2025. This post would later become central to how the public pieced together her final thoughts. The final Facebook post of Zine Nuckie Sylvester stands as one of the most documented aspects of her final hours. In this message, she laid out explicit funeral requests. These details included the colors she wanted to be associated with her funeral, the way her children should be dressed, and an explanation of her mental and physical exhaustion. Sylvester specifically wrote that her favorite colors were pink and black. She requested these be the chosen colors for her funeral service. Her wording was direct, offering clear instruction rather than suggestion. Within the same post, she made a request regarding her children. She stated that she wanted her sons to be dressed in pink for her funeral, adding the phrase, "Real men wear pink." This detail was widely repeated in media coverage, as it symbolized the personal nature of her final instructions. Another key passage in the post read, "I don't know where I am, but I know I was tired." This statement was interpreted as a direct expression of exhaustion and detachment. The lack of specific references left it open to interpretation, but readers immediately connected it to her ongoing struggles with mental health. The post concluded with a sentence that would later confirm its significance. "If this touched Facebook, I'm gone." The statement indicated that the message was scheduled, delayed, or written to appear at the moment she no longer expected to be alive. This remark drew immediate attention, as it left little ambiguity about her intentions. At the moment the post appeared, followers reacted in two ways. Some viewed it as cryptic, but not final, assuming it was another expression of frustration or sadness. Others interpreted it as a farewell note, noting the explicit funeral instructions and finality of the closing line. The divided interpretations led confusion in the hours following the post. Several friends and online contacts reportedly tried to reach out to her after reading the message. Some responded publicly in the comments with concern, while others contacted family members directly to alert them. The Facebook post circulated quickly within her community. Concerned individuals began sharing the post and discussing it, with many trying to determine her whereabouts. Family members were contacted by friends and followers who had seen the message. However, confirmation of her death did not come immediately. The lag between the post and official statements left a window of uncertainty during which speculation spread online. Zine Nuckie Sylvester was confirmed dead on September 23, 2025. Reports consistently identify this as the official date of death. The death was reported as a suicide. Multiple media outlets, including People magazine and India Times, used this classification. There has been no alternative cause presented publicly. Authorities released minimal details following her death. Public confirmation established the cause of death as suicide, but specifics of the method were not provided. Law enforcement and medical examiners did not release a formal report to the media at the time of coverage. Instead, most information was relayed through statements from family and through the interpretation of her final Facebook post. No official report has confirmed the exact method by which Sylvester ended her life. The family and community, as well as local media outlets, have not publicly disclosed those details. This absence of information has left a gap in the public record, with only the classification of suicide available to confirm the nature of her death. Because official sources provided limited information, media coverage relied heavily on the Facebook post and on interviews or statements from Sylvester's relatives. Articles repeated the contents of her final post and quoted family members who describe her life and struggles. Media reports also reference her identity as a mother of 3 young children and her background as a social media figure. News of Sylvester's death spread first through Facebook and other online platforms before being widely reported by news outlets. Her final post was shared repeatedly, and followers began leaving comments and tributes. The lack of official details meant that much of the narrative was constructed through community discussion and speculation. The speed with which the news spread online demonstrates the role of social media in both her life and death. Her online presence made the announcement of her passing circulate faster than traditional media could confirm it. In the days following the announcement of her death, members of Zine Sylvester's family began releasing public statements. These were made through social media posts, interviews with media outlets, and through descriptions used in fundraising campaigns. The family consistently referred to her as a cherished daughter, sister, friend, and mother. In formal wording, relatives describe her as a bright light in the household and community. They emphasize her role as a mother to 3 children and place this identity at the center of her remembrance. Her siblings express the impact of her absence in statements that circulated widely on Facebook and in local reports. Each message stressed the significance of her position within the family unit. Parents and guardians who spoke to local reporters reiterated her role as a caregiver, highlighting her responsibility for 3 young children aged 6 years, 1 year, and 3 months. This fact was repeated consistently in all official responses by family members. Beyond parental duties, her family also pointed out her place as a daughter who remained connected to her immediate household. These descriptions build a clear picture how the family wanted her to be remembered as a valued and central figure whose personal relationships defined her. Shortly after her death, the family initiated a GoFundMe campaign to manage the financial obligations associated with funeral, memorial, and burial costs. The campaign appeared online with a description written by relatives. It stated that Zine Nuckie Sylvester's sudden death left behind not only 3 children, but also a family unprepared for financial responsibilities of immediate memorial arrangements. The fundraiser requested contributions from the public, presenting a structured way for supporters and members of the community to assist. The GoFundMe campaign text reinforced the family's earlier statements. It emphasized her role as a daughter, sister, and mother. It called on her extended circle, including social media followers and the local community, to contribute financially in recognition of her importance. The fundraiser included a specific financial target. The stated goal was to collect $15,000. This amount was set to cover the expenses of funeral arrangements, a memorial service, and the care of her surviving children during the transition period. Publicly available records from the GoFundMe platform show that the campaign gained traction quickly. Within days of its posting, contributions reached more than half of the requested amount. The rate of donation indicated strong participation from both personal acquaintances and members of the broader online community who were aware of her story through social media reporting. As of the final update available, the campaign had raised over $11,000, which represented more than 70% of the intended target. Donors included family members, friends, and strangers who had followed the case online. Many left brief public comments alongside their donations. These statements were primarily messages of condolence, expressions of support for the surviving children, or short recollections of the victims' presence in their lives. The GoFundMe page became not only a fundraising tool, but also a digital space where the community recorded their recognition of her. In addition to the online campaign, a candlelight vigil was organized. Friends, family, and members of the community gathered for this event, which was held locally in Ohio. The vigil was scheduled within days of the funeral preparations and served as a physical gathering point for those wishing to acknowledge her life and death. Reports from attendees confirmed that the vigil included candles, photographs of Zine Sylvester, and verbal tributes delivered by those present. Family members spoke directly to those gathered, reiterating the same descriptions they had given in online statements, that she was a beloved daughter, sister, and mother. Community members also contributed by speaking of her presence within local networks, particularly her activity on social media. The vigil served as both a mourning ritual and a formal recognition of her impact on others. Attendance reflected her reach both within the family and in the wider circle of acquaintances who knew her through digital platforms. Parallel to these physical and financial responses was the digital record of her passing. Facebook was a primary platform where tributes appeared. Immediately after her final post was widely shared, users began to comment and post memorial messages. Family members used their own profiles to issue official confirmations of her death and to share funeral and vigil details. Friends posted photographs and memories, frequently tagging her account. The comment sections under her last public message became filled with condolences, with users repeating phrases such as "rest in peace" and "you will be missed." Other social media platforms also carried the story, particularly as media outlets picked up coverage. News articles about her death were shared repeatedly on Twitter, X, and Instagram, often linked back to her Facebook page. Public discussions emphasized her status as a young mother of 3, and these details were repeated consistently. The online tributes extended internationally once larger outlets covered the story. Users who had not known her personally engaged with the case, often referencing her age and the fact that she left behind 3 young children. The digital record became the most significant archive of responses, combining family statements, friend tributes, and commentary from strangers. From a structural perspective, the community response followed a clear sequence. Family statements were issued first, identifying her as a cherished daughter, sister, and mother. The GoFundMe campaign was launched almost immediately, clarifying the financial needs associated with her funeral. The campaign published a financial target of $15,000, and within days, over $11,000 had been raised. A candlelight vigil was organized, gathering both family and community members in person. Online platforms, especially Facebook, became central spaces for tributes, condolences, and the sharing of memorial details. This sequence of events illustrates the structured way her family and community addressed the aftermath of her death, combining financial support, physical gatherings, and digital memorials. If this story gripped your heart and left you questioning the truth, don't forget to hit that like button and share with others who need to hear it. For more chilling true crime stories that dive deep into the mysteries behind these tragedies, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest updates, investigations, and thought-provoking discussions. Thank you for being part of this journey with us as we uncover the truth and seek justice. Together, we can make a difference. Stay safe, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next one.